SKT versus Stars, Set 3, Bisu, Guemchi, Fighting Spirit. This hopefully won't be a one-sided rape by Bisu. On the other hand, Bisu's been kind of slumping, so perhaps even his epic PvP will prove to be not enough for Guemchi. Guemchi is one of the poor Protosses. 6 months ago, it was really sort of, the Protoss community was in confusion. The dragons were falling, they were failing to the Zerg, who were just pretty much overrunning everything, and there were no, the Protoss up-and-comers, it was looking so slim. You have, Backhoe and, the like, that are just full of epic fail. And then finally, in the past 6 months, we've seen Movie, we've seen Pure, a few other players like that start to step up, start to show that the Protoss race isn't gonna just lie down and die. And Guemchi, at the same time, has managed to stay pleasantly mediocre that entire time. So he's not a terrible player, but he's less than 50%, so it's hard to really call him good. And his worst matchup is his mirror matchup at 41 odd percent. So that's obviously not the kind of person you want playing Bisu. So colors and positions, let's do that before the game actually starts happening. Bisu's in the bottom right. He's yellow, gold, whatever. And Guemchi is in the top right, in red. They're both going to scout each other first, scouting after Gateway. So they'll know exactly what they're going for, and they're going for the exact same build, so clearly they think alike about what is the optimal build on this map. I'm guessing they're probably going to go for the pretty versatile one Zealot core type build that makes you not completely get owned by rushes, yet allows you to get fast tech, fast dragoons, stuff like that, that lets you do interesting things that your opponent doesn't like, because your opponent doesn't want you to do interesting things. Interesting things are bad for him. So Fighting Spirit is sort of quickly becoming the... It's definitely the most popular 4-player map out of the current Proleague map set, and that is what happens when you're Guemchi. Your probes get wait. Yeah. Your probes get destroyed by Bisu. Colors are confusing really badly there for a second. So, Guemchi's probes, obviously not Bisu probes. Bisu actually is the reason for his slump. He's been practicing his probe micro 8 hours a day, and when he decides to practice the rest of his game again, he's going to just destroy most of his opponents before the 5-minute mark with the probe micro alone. You heard it here first. So before that tangent about probes, Fighting Spirit it's a very standard type map, and it's sort of the most popular 4-player map out of this current map set. The other map that's sort of popular out of the current Proleague map set is Matchpoint, which I really like. It's one of the most interesting maps I've seen in a long time. I guess since Heartbreak Ridge, which is also one of my favorite maps, and one of the most popular Korean maps in Korea too. It's a Courage map now, so that means everyone is playing on iCup all the time. Sort of unfortunate. I get bored of the same maps. I can't play them more than a week at a time. So Bisu's doing a great job of preventing scouting, despite the fact he's going 1 gate range, exactly the same thing Guemchi's doing, so there's nothing interesting happening from either of them. Guemchi's choosing to be aggressive with his 2 zealots here, and now there's a dragoon shooting them. Not that that really matters much, but I don't know what he thinks he's going to be aggressive against, because 1 gate range is pretty much the most passive build you can attempt as Protoss. I guess you could do like 1 gate proxy robo or something, but that's still not going to have fewer units at this stage, so I guess Guemchi's just keeping Bisu honest. I think we're going to see 2 gate robo expand. So 2 gate into obs into expansion from Guemchi, and probably the same for Bisu. So this must be the way to play this map. It's kind of interesting. I feel like normally with a ramped map like this, like Python for example, you see more Reaver play because it's easy to go one gate Reaver and your main's not going to get run over, whereas, say, match point, if you try to do that, you're just going to get stomped by Dragoon heavy openings, as Bisu did with somewhat proxy gateways against, I don't know, I can't be bothered to look it up right now. And Bisu built 2 gateways where the pylon was in his main, but the gateways were outside of his main, and just stomped on someone. And someone really bad too, so apparently that was one the streak of Bisu playing like 8 PvPs that lasted less than 10 minutes or something crazy like that, as he just decided he didn't want to mess around with noobs at all and just own them immediately. Bisu actually has been playing other matchups besides PvP recently, which is exciting for us. And wow, Bisu just and after I was saying they're both going to go for expand, they both go for Robo Bay. Robo Support Bay, rather. So they go into Reavers after Obs. So that's a pretty... This is pretty much like the most safe strategy you can try. Except for the fact that you're so safe that it's... If your opponent takes an expansion, you pretty much have to take them out because you're not going to have an expansion forever. But neither player is taking an early expansion, so we're going to have a nice, easy, balanced mirror matchup. We can see whether Guemchi's micro, game sense, and skill can match up to Bisu's. I don't know what Bisu's... Guemchi's moving his observer in a nice straight line for Bisu's base, and Bisu's observer is like taking this meandering path through the middle. Maybe it's trying to avoid getting sniped. And he's going to see Guemchi's expansion coming up. And now Bisu puts down his own. They both have Reavers out at about the same time. And Bisu's going to push here. Which is going to turn out... It'll be... Oh, maybe he's not going to push. Maybe he's just going to snipe Guemchi's. No, he looks like he wants to push. But I don't think he has any sort of force. Oh, he's taking out this scouting pylon here. This is something that's good from both players. Scouting pylons are cheap. And a lot of times, especially, say, Guemchi, if you're him putting a scouting pylon, it's a 12 o'clock expansion, is great because it's really hard for Bisu to move his army all the way over there to kill it. And if he does, he's really out of position to defend his main. The one between them is not such a great idea because that's right on the route to push, and it's on your route to push. So Bisu can move up and take that out, and you can see his game sense. I don't even think he scouted that. He was just sort of checking it out and took it down. And now Bisu's leaving his poor observer in the back of Guemchi's base. That's obviously great. Sniping your opponent's observers in a PvP is good because they don't want to be using that gas to make observers. They want to make Reavers and Templar and Tech Up. And Bisu sitting atop that bridge there. Luckily for him, there's no observers around giving Guemchi sight. He's going to try to get in and do some harassment here. But it's pretty much locked down with Dragoons. There might be... Yeah, he's going to be able to get a Reaver shot. It's going to dud, though, unfortunately for Bisu, yes. So, good defense there from Guemchi. He's got all of his units right here in this natural, and because of the position, the natural's pretty close to that top wall, so it's kind of hard to for him to get in, Bisu to get in the main from that direction. He could come in from the south, actually. From the observer's point of view, we can see that's relatively open so far, but that sort of makes Bisu have to move his Reavers further away from his forces trying to contain Guemchi here. And Guemchi, does not want to be contained. Taking some Reaver pot shots, knocks out a Dragoon there. That's great.